All right. That's awesome. Great job, students and parents. Yes, thank you so much for being here. If y'all want to, great job, students. If y'all want to take a seat, students, and kind of look at the stage, and parents, if you want to kind of rotate your chairs just temporarily around towards the stage, we're gonna fill the rest of this meeting just with some important information. We just want to explain just what the trip looks like a little bit more, what you have in your packet. And if you still haven't, that's fine. If you still haven't grabbed a packet, come on up, and they're on the stage. You can come get one in a second. But what we do in Trinidad so pretend we're in Trinidad, okay? So right after an audience, either in a school or maybe in front of a KFC or somewhere, they're going to see that drama we just saw, and someone's going to get on stage, or the stage we have, like I am right now, and they're going to explain the gospel. We call it casting the net, because it's one thing to see that. We want to make sure it's super clear what they just saw. And so for the people that stay, we want to kind of talk to them real quick before they start walking away. We want to say, hey, so what you saw is, you remember the man and woman in the beginning, the Adam and Eve, that God made everything perfect. He made the tree and the little butterfly that scared them, right? And there was just perfect peace there. They were happy. I mean, you saw the smiles, right? They were dancing even. They were surfing on the waves there, right? That's awesome. But something happened, right? They weren't supposed to eat. There was only kind of one rule. They weren't supposed to take this fruit from a certain tree. And so, but that's what happened. This serpent came in. This deceiver came in. Remember the person in the red shirt? Yes, he deceived man and woman, and they ate of the fruit. They ate of the tree. And what did that do? It created that wall. Do you remember seeing the wall? It just formed. And now God's on one side and man and woman are on the other, and now there's not peace. And there's a lot of trouble that comes with that. And they tried to find it. They tried to find their strength in themselves. Remember, in the power and maybe their looks of beauty. They tried to find peace in all those things. Or in greed, you saw the people with the money. They tried to seek peace through money and find that it would fulfill their life. And none of it filled their life with peace. None of it gave them that peace they're looking for. None of it made it to where they could break through the wall and have a relationship with God. They were still separated. And they were running, trying to get through on their own. Nothing they could do could get them to God. But God, remember, he broke through. He broke through the wall. He tore down the wall. God stepped down for us through his son, Jesus Christ. And he suffered. He was beaten and bruised and hung on a cross and died. He really died for us. And then remember, they put him in the tomb. Remember the tomb that formed around him? And then 3 days later, he jumped up. He rose from the grave. And that's what we believe, that in the resurrection of Jesus Christ, in the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, and that brought Adam and Eve back. That brought man and woman back to God. And so now they can be with God again. You remember all the happy faces at the end, the celebration, all the high fives? Yeah, I know you saw that. Yes, they're happy because they have Jesus in their life, and Jesus now brings them to heaven. It says that Jesus now brings us to God. And so that is what we were here to do. And we'd love to talk to you about that more. And so, students, and that's what we would say, students, go talk to the crowd. And so it kind of goes something like that. And so maybe there is someone out there today that maybe hasn't placed their faith in Jesus today, and they don't. Maybe we've been trying to find it in all these other things in our life, and we've just left kind of in distress like the man and woman was, and maybe that's the place you're at right now, and you're just like, God, I have nothing left. And you can turn to Christ, who tears down that wall between us and God, and he brings us to God in that relationship, and that's our peace. And so that's eternal life, and through Jesus Christ alone. And so that's what we're taking to Trinidad. That's why we work so hard for hours and hours and hours. Can you believe they learned that was it just under 24 hours or just right around 20? This is crazy. Just like 24 hours, they learned that entire drama. So give it up for the students that put hard work into that. I'm clapping too. Students, just to give that away, you made it easy for us leaders going on the trip and staff just by your attitudes. We rarely ever have to ask you like twice to be somewhere. And so parents, again, and loved ones, thank you just for your discipleship with your kiddos and all the support you've given them, and it really shows. And that shows you. And so thank you so much. Well, I'm going to be brief. We're going to try and get you out here as quick as possible. It's a Sunday afternoon. We got this. Thank you for coming. I want to introduce to you someone who wants to explain a little bit about what you're holding in your hands right there. And so Morgan Sain's going to make her way up, and she wants to explain. Yeah, give it up. Morgan, what is this packet all about, huh? Let's look at this.
Thank you, Keaton. Well, if you have not gotten one of these packets, please feel free to come up now because it'll be very helpful to have this with you as I go through it. As you can see, there are two different color packets, and those indicate what flight your student is on. So those that have the red packet are the first flight group, and the ones that have the blue packet are the second flight group. So you'll hear us and see information communicated about that. So just know which flight group that your student is on. And we've listed the names on the front just to be very clear. And if for some reason getting your student to the airport is a challenge during that time, you have a whole list of people to ask to help carpool. And so know that that's why all those names are on there. And the names that are bolded are our staff people that would be on that flight. So if you have questions about that flight, or if you're on the way to the airport and something happens, text one of those names, and those will be the people that will be able to help. For the red packet, the first flight group, y'all will get to be arriving at the airport at 3 a.m. Woo! We get there early because as a big group, it takes a while to get checked in. And our flight leaves at 5:25 a.m. So it's very exciting. So please be at the airport on time because we will not leave and go through check-in and go through security until everyone is there. So please be on time. That is most helpful to the group. People on the second flight group, blue packet, y'all will need to be at the airport at 9:45 a.m. And so y'all's flight takes off at 12:49 p.m. So those are the times to be at the airport. I will send out this packet of information later this week so that not only you do have a physical copy, but you'll have a digital one. Those are when to arrive at the airport. Know that whenever you're packing, there is a limit in the weight of your suitcase that you're bringing, or if you have a big duffel bag or whatever that you're bringing to pack all your stuff, your bag that's going to be checked, it's a limit of 50 pounds. You can have a checked bag that's 50 pounds or less, and a what's it called? Carry-on. Words are hard. So y'all can bring both of those on with you to the airport. Just know that your costume and prop needs to be put in your carry-on because just in case that suitcase gets lost and you don't have it for a couple of days, you have your costume, you have the stuff that you need to perform this drama. The only exception to not packing your carry-on is the power sticks. We don't want to cause any trouble going through security with those. So please put those in your checked bag. Once we get to the airport, we will have travel groups, and Keaton's probably going to explain a bit about that, of what that will look like. And so just know that you will find that out once you get to the airport, what leader will be in your travel group and what other students will be in your travel group. And once we get to Trinidad, we will collect all the passports. So during the time that they are in the airport, your student and the leaders, they are all responsible for their own passport. And once we get to Trinidad, we will collect those, and they will be put in a safe, and they will be very safe while we're in Trinidad, and then we will redistribute those once we are leaving Trinidad. So know that students, y'all got to keep care of your passport because you're going to need that to get to Trinidad and to leave Trinidad. So make sure you have that with you as you travel. So the next thing that you'll see after you turn the first page is our flight information, and you can see when we'll be arriving back in DFW, and we've got an itinerary on there of what we will do each day, and some different FAQs, and suggested amount of money to bring with you for both cash, for both meals in the airport. Those are the only meals that are not paid for through their support. So each student is required to bring their own money for the meals that they bring or they want at the airport. Our layovers this year are much shorter than last year, so we won't have near as much time. But I was estimating 3 meals max. We may not even be able to, we won't have enough enough time at the airports, even with that. So I suggest enough for 3 meals, and airport meals can be a bit expensive. So, and then the only other thing that students will need to bring money for is souvenirs. So you can bring no money for souvenirs or a lot of money for souvenirs. It's up to y'all. But that was our suggested amount, but know that that can fluctuate as whatever needed. And y'all can read through the rest of those last-minute FAQs. The next page is the TTUM team member missions information. This is information that TTUM is wanting in your hands. So you can know the different dress codes for the girls and guys. And girls, we went over the dress code. I'm assuming guys, y'all did too. And then what to bring and suggested things to bring in. It has also in here the contact information for TTUM. So that is the compound that we are staying at, and if there is an emergency and you need to get a hold of your student, those are the numbers to call. And the next thing we got is our packing list. It's very thorough. And so just make sure that as you're packing according to the guidelines of how we have asked for y'all to dress. Yeah, it's got everything in there. We were asking around when we were separated girls and guys yesterday, we were asking the girls, what of this list, what do y'all suggest should be added or whatnot? So feel free to ask your students of that. One thing that I just want to note, because I thought it was really helpful, is anything that can help boost that immune system while we were traveling, because it's go, go, go all the time. And we don't get a ton of sleep while we're there. It is full days and oftentimes early mornings. So please know that anything to help keep that immune system up is always a great thing. So feel free to add that to anything, those emergency packets or whatnot. So yeah, that's the packing list. And the final thing in the packet is the prayer calendar. That is for y'all to keep and to be praying for the students, just kind of a guide with each day of what's happening and specific requests during that day. So as we're out and about there, y'all know exactly what's going on then, and y'all can be praying specifically. The next thing I want to talk to you is today is the financial deadline for the trip. If you are short funds, please come talk to me afterwards, and I'd love to talk through just what that looks like. If you have a check or cash or whatever it is as the remaining amount, you can hand that to me. I've also set up a little table back there that you can just set things in. I'll put a tray right there, and so if you just need to drop the money off and give it to me that way, that works great too. And if you need to know your specific support amount, I printed off everyone's total amount. And I texted the people today. We went through and saw if there was any checks that were, or any support that was given that isn't yet in their support date. Maybe it was given this weekend. And so I texted those specific people just so they know their updated amount, because it doesn't reflect that of what's online. So yeah, if you have questions about that, come talk to me. I will stand back there in that general area. And the final thing is paperwork. I've been trying to text or email all the people who have remaining paperwork. So I put, for those of y'all that don't know, we had a waiver that we had to have redone because I put the wrong date on the first one, and I apologize for that. But thank y'all so much for being so diligent to get that re-signed. And so there are blank copies of that back there at that table. So if you are one of those people that need that to be re-signed, it's back there in their pins, and you can just make a stack of those waivers, and I'll collect it afterwards. If you are needing to complete a form that requires a notary, come see me afterwards, and we'll get that taken care of. And the final thing is Ministry Safe Awareness Training. Joe, you probably got an email from Joe Calfee to complete that training before we leave, and that needs to be done as soon as possible. If you're having issues with the links to watching the videos or taking the quiz, Joe Calfee is your person to ask for help with that, because I do not know how to give you access to that quiz. So if you have questions about that, please feel free to ask him, and he will help you out. That's all I got for all that stuff. Give it up for Keaton. Here we go.
Thank you, Morgan. Morgan makes the admin side of things fun, right, for you parents. And so I think that's it can be a rare thing to do. So thanks, Morgan, for all your work there. You've seen her through maybe her name and a lot of emails. Well, that's her. So go talk to her anyway, just to meet her if you still haven't. Most of you have. That's great. I'm going to be real quick here. I do have just kind of 3 things I want to say, but 2 of those. For the Ministry Safe, remember the due date for that, I believe in his email, was Friday, March 1st, so you still have a week to do that, and it doesn't take too long. A lot of you already did it for Sports World, and it'll help you for Sports World as well. We're just trying to make really clear, safe lines for working with kiddos, and so that's what that's all about. And also, we have extra Bibles back there, so you students, if you still didn't pick up your 3 Bibles that you get to pack and take with you, they're back here. Before you leave today, make sure and pick those up. Parents, we had time at drama training for students to get their 3 Bibles, and they mark them up. They write prayers throughout them, and those are the Bibles that they're actually going to take into schools. And then when the Spirit may prompt them, they could hand out, they're allowed in those schools and streets to hand out those Bibles. And so it always the timing of that always just works out. We always have just enough, and we kind of share those on the bus. Like, I need a Bible. I just had this great, we always have a student run from the school on the bus and say, I need a Bible. And then you've been on the trip before. You're nodding like, yes, that was me. And so it's a really cool opportunity we have there. And if you donate any of those Bibles, thank you so much for doing that. I just want to talk about 3 kind of easy things. They're actually all start with the letter S. That's kind of cool. And so I just want to talk to you briefly about social media, sickness, and safety. How about that? Right? Okay. I'm a youth pastor. I like alliteration, so there you go. But if you have social media, this is a great way to follow along with us along the trip. And so we have a slide for that. It may not kind of match the background. Ryan's a whiz at that thing. And so, but we have 3 accounts, of course, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I know a lot of you follow us on there. And I try my best to do, and the last few years we've been able to do that, at least just 1 post a day. And so I'm saying that from stage. I get a lot of, believe it or not, emails on the trip about maybe posting more, but that's just all I'm able to do. And so we start around 5 a.m. some days, most days, and we won't as leaders, we won't probably head to our room till 11 to midnight. So I'm trying my best, just do 1 post a day, and so I don't want to kind of overpromise and underdeliver. You understand? And so, but I hope in those posts to give you a glimpse of what's happening on the island. I love it when the comments, and I know a lot of you are like, oh, that's my baby. She's there. That's awesome. Or that's my boy. And so that's cool. We're going to post some images of your students, and we'll have to be careful about who we post for the Trinidadians. So we'll hopefully just do real big groups there. You can see the schools we're at, what we're doing on the island. We hope to update you that way. I would definitely follow these accounts, and so the same post will be on all 3. And so it also helps because we value and we need you as prayer warriors. I know we've been praying, and so we've learned more about prayer just on this Trinidad trip and how this is our team. This is really our mission trip team and all supporters. And so when we support Raise, we're just developing this, yes, financial support, but this prayer warriors. And so we need you on the island. We need you praying. And so you can hopefully post up that prayer calendar on your refrigerator, and I'm going to post that out, the PDF, hopefully on the city or whatever venue I do now, and it'll be awesome. And so, Lord willing, with Wi-Fi, I'll hope to do that. And so, thank you. That's social media. Sickness, this is the other thing. We have a lot of questions on this usually. Well, we value, of course, students' safety and health. And so, we actually take a lot of the meds we're going to need on the trip. This is my 6th time going on this trip, so we kind of know what we're going to need. A lot of it's just kind of simple things that really don't require a text or a call to you. That's just kind of maybe some simple sore throat or, just traveling, that sort of thing. Whenever we have had I'll call it a more serious case, nothing too serious, we always, always, always communicate to you parents. If we ever need to do maybe some heavier medicine, anything like that, we're going to give you a call or may text you first since we're there and try and call with you. We want you to know every step of the way and really with your permission of what we're doing, so you're involved in that. So if anything should happen, we're hoping and praying against anything too serious, but we do take our own meds for the little things, and we will contact you and keep you involved with that. And so be praying for that as well. Yes, and so last year I lost my voice like on Wednesday. It was real fun. Did I yell a lot, students? Or Yeah, Grace, I saw you nod there. I guess I did. I don't remember. Awesome. So we're going to keep you informed every step of the way. Lastly, safety. We had the social media, sickness, and safety. And so speaking about your students' health, of course, we value their safety. And it's our number one. And so I just want to, we have a couple bullet points here. I want to highlight a few bullet points, a few areas or some practical steps we take to make sure all 104 of us are safe in Trinidad. And so, of course, that's the Lord's safety. That's the Lord kind of granting that for us, and it's His will. But we do set up some things practically to be wise to make sure that in the last 8 years or 9 years going to the island, we've never had an incident with safety concern come up. And so they're going to list here for you. Oh, they're all at once. I'll go through them one at a time, then this is awesome. Well, number one, there's a reason. There's a reason why the 8 years we've never had an incident. And so one thing is Trinidad and America are very similar. There's simply some places you just don't go like they're in America, and we have the most amazing kind of tour guides and bus drivers there and Trinidadians that go with us every single day. We get on a big bus, and it holds around 24 of us, and so that's why we always we divide into 4 teams. That's how much a bus fits. And so we get on the same bus every day. We know that driver. He's singing the same songs we are. He's singing, I don't know what's the song we sing. We're singing songs, and they're like high-fiving us, and they're watching us share the gospel. We love them, and they're taking care of us. They're the best drivers in the world. Bringing you to that number 2 there. We use our own private buses. We're not using public transportation when we're there. We have our own buses. They pick us up when we want. They know where to go. They take us during safe paths. They're mostly all safe paths, but just in case there wasn't, they're there. They know what to do, and so it's kind of bread and butter in that sort of sense that we love them. We have great relationships with them. When traveling throughout the day, we always have at least 2 Trinidadians from TTUM. TTUM is Trinidad and Tobago Urban Ministries, started by Pastor Ashok long ago. And so when we stay there, we go with at least 2 Trinidadians every day, and they are kind of going to help us, just making sure especially when we're out in public, they're just kind of more eyes for us, just to be there in case anything should happen. They're just kind of setting more of a perimeter and saying, hey, we're just here to help you with whatever you need. And so we feel very safe and valued with TTUM by doing that. And once again, they become great friends with our team as well. And at public ministry spots, our students, this is one thing Morgan was mentioning about traveling, our students never go out by themselves. I just want to clear that up. We go in, if we're ever on a street or in schools and we feel like, man, they need to be with just more than one, we call them MIGs, Ministry in Groups. And so there's at least 3 to 4 in every MIG, and so that's a small group of students. Most of them have a leader in them. If they don't, every single one of them has at least one guy. And so if we're say we're in front of a KFC and we're going to go talk to the crowd, it's not just, all right, everyone for themselves. It's you're going to go in your MIGs together and support each other and pray for each other and invite someone into a conversation together. And so it's very safe, and we're there. I'm roaming around. I'm not in a MIG. I'm in everyone's MIG. And so I'm all around. All the team leads are just always around, seeing what we can do to help serve the students. And so just know that. And so we have, if you're a leader, go ahead and stand up. We have 23 leaders going on this trip. So we have 23 adult leaders going on this trip. Amazing. This is spring break for them. This is spring break. Thank you so much for this last weekend. And now parents on those teams, try and meet them before you leave. That's your only homework. Just try and meet them before you leave. They're awesome. This is one of the strongest leaders, some of the leadership we've ever had. I'm just so excited to be serving with them. Every team has at least 5 adult leaders, and I think that demands another kind of shout there. At least 5 leaders in every team. That's awesome. And so the Lord's provided in that way. And a lot of them, it kind of got me choked up for the weekend. A lot of them are former DBSM students as well, and they've already been to Trinidad, and they're coming back to give back to the next generation. I think that's really cool. That's ministry. That's discipleship. That's something to be praised right there. Also, we stay at TTUM. It's a gated compound with security cameras. Actually, the family we stay with, the Beichu family, they all live on the inside the compound too, and so it's gated. And when the gate's shut, they're shut. Our students can't kind of sneak out. So we're safe there. We're back by 6 to 6:30 every night. We have a nice dinner there, and we sing, and we get to kind of reflect on the day. It's very good, very nice. Kind of lastly there, Pat Smith, DBC with security and sheepdogs. A lot of you know him. Amazing man. We had a great opportunity last year. Let me tell you what happened. the church here, Denton Bible Church, and our leadership, they had an amazing idea. They said, hey, since we're sending so many students every year, we really want to just get to know the island better. Can we send like Pat and there? And so Pat Smith got to come with us last year, and just to be, he was a part of our team. You could see him. He was like jumping around doing games in Backer Bible Club. It was awesome. Yeah, go tell him I told you to tell him that. But he did, let me just brag about him. He did such a great job, and he just kind of went just to see the island, and from his kind of security mind to say, hey, is this a great place for us to be seeing students, and so many students. And I communicated to him right before this meeting. I got his permission. I don't want to directly quote him, but yes, we have that stamp of approval from DBC and Pat Smith directly and Joe Calfee. They're saying, yeah, this is a great place we're going. It's very safe. And so he does, if it wasn't, yeah, he'd be seeing other things happening. He's like, yeah, Keats, I need to go on this trip. He's like, no, like, this is a great thing you're doing there. He got to see everything, all these sites, and he said, this is great. They take great care of you. And so I think that really did my heart well, too, just to have the support of our church leadership. And so I just want to brag about them for a second. Lastly, it's about our relationship with the whole Beichu family. Pastor Ashok started TTOM long ago, and he's been there every step of the way. Almost a decade now we've been going there. And so Pastor Ashok is there, and they take great care of us. They call us their family. They send some of their students here to serve in sports world. Like, we are like a family with them. And there's a quote up there. They say, yeah, we would never put your group in any harm's way. Of course, y'all are a family. What are you talking about? You're a family. We're going to do whatever we need to support you guys. And so I just want, hopefully that's just like a blanket for your hearts and souls right there. I hope you feel that we're so loved there. The Beichus know everyone on the island. I'm not joking. They know pretty much everyone on the island. And when I go to a school, I'm like, hey, do you know the Beichu family? Pastor Ashok? Like, oh, yes, he was here. So it's really, really, really cool that the Lord would direct us through this organization and keep us safe in that way. And so they're up to date on everything on the island, from politics to any type of security threat. And so if there was anything ever that should stop us from going there, we'd get a text and call immediately, and they would just cancel our tickets. They wouldn't even let us there. That's how much we know them, and it's just amazing. I hope I've kind of stressed that enough. And parents, if you have any questions about what the kind of the 3 S's I talked about, especially that safety, or maybe why your student needed to complete the ministry safe or anything like that, after I pray in a few minutes, I want to stay for questions. Just because of some time, if I were to open this up to everyone ask questions, I just want to I want to respect everyone's time, but I want to be up here after to answer any questions you may have, and then also specific to any safety concerns, or I can show you where to go on social media, anything you need, or just me being the team leader. If you have anything you want to come ask me about, I'd love to meet you. Also, we're going to have Gabby and Grace. Let's just put them, they'll be back there. If you have anything, there they are. Hey, Gabby and Grace. If you have any, if you want to update us on any health concerns for your student going, anything from maybe a dietary thing, or maybe an allergy, or I know you've told us before, but if you want to talk to them in person, they're going to kind of mark that down, and they maybe want to ask you follow-up questions. Or if you've been waiting, like, oh, I want to tell you they need to take their medicine on this day, or can we stay away from this? Oh, we want that information. We need it. So I know you've probably already given that to us, but we have faces. Gabby and Grace would love to talk to you. And of course, if you have any admin questions, Morgan Sane will be here to answer any of those. And so those are the kind of the 3 set of questions you can be asking. I'll be up here. They'll be back there. Students, you're grabbing Bibles. You're taking your props with you. Wow, just under 2 weeks we're leaving. Can y'all believe that? Hey, all right, I know there's the late flight's nice. I'm on the early flight. You're already thinking right now, am I going to stay up late or are we going to get up early? I don't know. So this is great, but we're going to have fun. And, of course, come talk to me anyway. Even if you don't have a question, just come. I'd love to meet you. And, yes, we need you so much that week, parents and family and loved ones and friends. We need you through prayer and support. And so thank you for allowing your student to go on this trip. And we're praying just that God would do amazing things. And so we're praying just like for thinking of John 4 and just that divine meeting with the woman at the well. We're praying for those divine appointments. And so we know that it's going to happen. And it's nothing, we tell students, we're just be a willing vessel. That's the easiest. God could even use you if you weren't a willing vessel. He can do whatever he wants. But how much greater of a trip you could have if you're just like, hands open, all right, God, no expectations, only that you're great, and I'm here. I'm actually on an island. I don't know where. Am I north of Venezuela? Where am I? But God, I'm a willing vessel. I want to help you what can I do? What can I do to serve the team leads, to serve my team? God, what can I do to serve you? And that's the heart posture we've been looking for from our students and our leaders and myself. And so help us pray for that attitude, Philippians 2 attitude of the last shall be first. What can I do? How can I meet each other? How can I meet my neighbor's needs before my own? That's going to help us have a more smooth trip. And so that's a great prayer. I didn't intend on saying that, but I'm glad that was said. And let me pray for us today. Such a really fun day. We're out of here just under 3, so for questions, we want to respect your time. Thank you so much. Let me pray. We get out of here. Father, thank you for these many families and friends in the room. Thank you for these students and their willingness just to give up a weekend and also a week and many, many weekends, many hours, many phone calls to support Raise. God, thank you for that they're giving up this time for you, for your glory, for Jesus' name and his fame. And that's what it's all about, not ours. We don't need someone to know our name on the island. They'll learn it, but it's about Jesus. We want to take that name and that story, the gospel there. And so this drama enables us to do it in a kind of a fun way, a practical way, so that's what we're going to do. So thank you that we got to learn, and thank you for Alexis giving up her time to come and teach us. Thank you for the staff and leaders here. Thank you for the parents and all the work they've been doing as well with their students, partnering with them in this Trinidad trip. They've partnered with their students in this. So thank you for all that, all that unseen time. Father, all the prayers they've put in. God, we thank you for the families. We prayed to keep us safe on the trip. I asked in the next 2 weeks, you would prepare our hearts now. We know this drama. You've prepared us in that way. Man, Father, I pray that you would just prepare our hearts and minds for what's ahead, that we'd be in the Word every day, just not because we have to, because we want to. We're eating, or we're getting fed that way. And so maybe memorizing Scripture, we'd be prepared to share the good news of Jesus on the island. Thank you for this time. I pray that we could answer any questions a parent may have. We'd be very clear. Thank you again for this day that you have made. And I ask it in your Son's name, the powerful name of Jesus. And everyone said, amen. Awesome. So I'll be here for questions. We have Gabby and Grace for anything medically you want to talk about with them, any allergies, anything like that. Morgan's here, of course, for admin. We're not going to leave till you need us to leave. We're staying. Yes. And Jesse, they take props, right? And yes, students, carry those props with you. Those are your props. Pack those away.
People have been talking, man. You know what I'm going to do? I'ma just do it.
Let me get some more vocals, yo. Turn me up, though.
I'ma just do it.
See the pretty young girl at the church, maybe black, maybe Spanish. Had a little vocal on her in the choir, said she loved Jesus and she had good credit. Few months in, and I'm making you my wife, cutie. She smiled and she asked me how. I said, shh.
I'ma just do it.